What the hell's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome into another week and another episode of your favorite podcast. It's the What the Puck podcast with your hosts Nick and Gunk. Gunk, how we doing this week, baby? We've been off for a couple weeks.
Yes, we had a little bit of a stall there, but we're ready to roll today. We got some news, we got some stories, and
Oh, do we have some news?
do we have news and do we have some story? We have some good stuff for the we again got a couple stadium series pre reviews, I should say. We had an awesome time. Me and the Nick, we're at MetLife Stadium, freezing our asses off.
But it was the best type of freeze ever.
Best experience
Best
ever, though.
experience, I think. Any gang, whoever's watching, listening, whatever. If you ever have the opportunity to go check out an outdoor hockey game that the NHL puts on, you got to go do it. It is easily the best hockey experience you can ever have. I mean, the Jonas Brothers. The Jonas Brothers.
You can Hey, for as many songs as you knew, Mr. Millennial, that was very impressive. I was very impressed with how many songs you knew. I was impressed with how many songs I knew.
Yeah, screw me. I was surprised. I was actually surprised with how many songs you were turning around and going, "Oh, I actually know this."
Trust me, and when you got a little one that's around her age, it's kind of easy to get into, like, a Jonas Brothers kind of thing, or just listening in the background, because again, the girls take the car over and they play the music, so it's like, oh, Z100, Jonas Brothers here, Jonas Brothers there, and you don't even realize it's in the background. And then all of a sudden you're hearing them live and you're like, oh, I know this song. I'm like, I can't, but yes, besides that, the experience, and like I said, just the fandom around us, and this, Nick can tell you stories about the fandom. It was not even being a Devils or Rangers fan, a Devils or Philadelphia fan. His perspective must have been out of whack, because I was all in Devils. Let's go, let's go. And Nick's looking at it as an outside.
Fuck everybody. Gun to the earth. Fuck
This
everybody.
is Mr. Let's Go Rangers as we're walking out of the building, and it's like, oh my god.
They keep calling us first round exits when we're gonna be in the first round.
Exactly.
I
Yeah,
don't want to hear it from Devils fans.
No, and you know what? I don't blame you one bit. This team,
Because the Devils are looking for a goaltender, and fans are looking for them to make a trade. They made a trade.
they
They made
sure did.
they made a trade with Calgary.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Tanvey, Tanvey,
Tanev.
Tanev, thank you, Tanev. Mr. Chris Tanev was a Devil for exactly maybe 5 seconds.
3 to 5 seconds, yeah.
3 to 5 seconds. He was a Devil. He was gonna be part of our team. We made a great trade,
Oh
and
my
then all
God.
of a sudden, yeah, 5 seconds later, it was over.
Yeah,
And we got a nice, juicy 2026 fourth round pick. I mean, will they turn it into something?
No.
I highly doubt that.
I mean, it could. Honestly, I can't say no because you never know at this point. The Rangers got that Rempe kid. That's a 6th rounder. That's clearing through the NHL.
And we definitely got to talk
Oh,
about Mr.
so Rempe hit Bastiano with that hit. And,
He didn't know what the fuck he did. He was all on the ground. Poor guy. Christ. Poor Bastion was ready to make a star out of that. He was like, I did this. This is gonna turn me into one of the, like, New Jersey's favorite people.
and then he get knocked out.
The next game, he gets fucking knocked in the stomach by this fucking monster on the fucking Rangers. Where the fuck did this guy even come from? He's a fucking monster. Talk about the word goon in perspective. My man Remma is a fucking goon.
Oh, he's
like,
a beast.
But God bless him though. He's gonna set the tone for this team going forward, and they needed somebody like this to be on their roster, I think.
Absolutely.
I love this move by the Rangers that they brought this kid up. He brings toughness. He brings a I don't give a fuck mentality to the game. He's gonna fit in perfect with all the stars that the Rangers have right now, and he's showing it already on the ice. I mean,
Oh,
just
absolutely.
the fighting, the changing momentum, and he scores a game-winning goal against Philadelphia. I mean, you can't.
He didn't really score that.
Well, he got credit.
He
For
got
the goal.
credit for it. I thought At, at first, they tried giving it to fucking Barclay Goodrow, and I screamed. I was like, absolutely not. Even if it was Goodrow's goal, no, it's not. Give it to the kid.
Give it to the kid. I mean, the fight he had against Desjardins was fucking epic. I mean, the one when he fought Desjardins in the Philadelphia game. You know, you see the clip. It was that mid.
It was Delorier.
Oh, was it? Oh shit.
Damn.
Okay, I messed the name up.
Desjardins. I don't think Desjardins been in the league for that long, in a long time.
I'm not good. You know me. I'm not good with names. You know who I meant. God damn it. I'm not good with the names. I'm
I'm not
sorry.
good with the name.
I'm not good with the names, and we should know this by now. So, I thought it was Desjardins. I sort of guy, like you said, these fucking names kill me sometimes. I'm still learning everything. It's like
It's funny you
every
bring
time
that up.
I gotta learn a new fucking name.
I said it to my friends last night. I was because we were watching the Rangers Blue Jackets game. And I was like, I'm not sure if you realize, but a lot of hockey names are just very equivalent to Star Wars names. Like
I can.
it's just the most out it's the most random ass names. Like Columbus yesterday had a line of three Russian players. Chinnikov, Voronkov, and another name ending with it starting with an M.
Oh, okay.
Uh Moronkov.
Yeah.
Those are all Star Wars ass sounding names. Like I gotta go to the outer rim to find Moronkov. Moronkov Creator. Yeah.
Oh my god, he should be defending the fucking Tatooine fucking like water supply or fucking supply of fucking air and shit, man. I swear. Or fucking he should be on base spin, fucking controlling it with fucking Lando and shit. Nah, these names are fucking ridiculous, man. Come on.
But
I'm trying here.
we are trying
You're trying.
just like the Devils are trying to stay alive in the playoff hunt, but not doing so good to start off games. It was said during the Devils broadcast on MSG against the Sharks on Monday night that it was the 43rd time out of what 52, 53 games.
It's 50. I think it's up to 55 right now. Yeah, it's something like that. But
Still
yeah,
not a
they've
good.
only
Still not good.
no. They again, if you want to make if you want to make a simple bet and you want to make some money, put put on whoever the Devils are playing for the first goal.
Yeah.
That's all. That's what you gotta do. You're making easy money because this team gives up the first goal in every goddamn game, and it's so fucking heartbreaking. It's like, and it's not even like I can't even say it's goaltending at this point. It's breakdowns. It's like the simplest fucking like the defense is just not there anymore. It's just not there. I mean, yes, we're at the point where these you got to give the kids a chance to play, and that's who you're playing right now. But they're just making bad mistakes, and I'm talking about the good ones. It's Luke Hughes making mistakes. I mean,
Oh
there's
God,
again,
I watched him during that game against the Rangers, and I thought he wasn't really all that.
no, he was not sharp at all. I mean, Nemeth has been playing really well as a replacement for Hamilton. You gotta. I mean, you gotta give the. I mean, he's 19 years old and he's replacing one of the top defensemen in the league. Offensively. So you got to give him. And his defense has been really really well. I mean, yes, he's made a few mistakes here and there, but again, for a 19-year-old kid, he's played really well. But Luke is something like he's like I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's conditioning because he only played, for like 35 to 40 games at Michigan, in a year. And he's, this is about as what, like I said, he's played 55 to 60, 55 to 60 games now. He might be, just getting to that, to that rookie wall basically, where, he's getting tired and, he's making mental mistakes. And for this team right now, you just can't have that. We need, if we're looking to trade, which again, I really feel like they're kind of backing off. And like I said, this trip this week with the win against San Jose, we got to see how they come against on Friday against Anaheim. They have LA on Sunday. It's these next couple games are gonna be really big to see where the direction is for this team going. Because really, in all seriousness, if they crap the bed in the next two games, I wouldn't even fathom the fact I would think they would be sellers now because making up. I mean, they're 5 points behind both Philadelphia and both Tampa Bay for the wild card, and Philadelphia for the third spot in the Metro. It's going to be a tough climb because Philadelphia is. I mean, yes, the Stadium Series thing. Yes, they played a horrible game, but Philadelphia is that good. I mean, they're proving it. They're not falling off like most experts say, and they're going to be in the mix. And there's if you can't get past Philadelphia, because I feel like the Lightning are going to make a couple moves here and there. I feel like they I thought they're going to be sellers. Tampa Bay has moved up now. They might be buyers for coming up in a few weeks. Right
I
now,
I
the Devils
wouldn't
are
bring
in a weird
Tampa Bay
spot.
up to buying just yet. I'd upgrade them to window shopping.
It's a better scenario than a lot of people had thought they were going to come into this year. I
Oh,
mean, there was
absolutely.
there were people talking about trading Stamkos at the beginning of the year, and there's no way they're doing that now. I mean, they locked him in. I mean, they're
I
gonna
have a,
they're gonna
I
they
have,
gotta like the window shopping thing. They're gonna be out there looking to add to this team, and for the Devils right now, like I said, who are you adding, to this team? I mean, unless you're adding a top defenseman, which is you're gonna have to give up a lot to get one of these top defensemen,
you had Tana,
like a Hannafit
Calgary.
from Calgary. I mean, maybe this is why you did this deal to help out this trade, just to kind of make kind of good piece with Calgary. Maybe you're looking maybe to grab a Markstrom, because that was the big thing. If you read a couple articles, especially the Devils ones, was a lot of that Markstrom trade was blocked because they didn't want to take the full salary of Markstrom. They wanted retention on it, and Calgary wasn't having it. So maybe this is like a nice open hand to him, saying, "Hey, we'll take this part of the salary, but help us out maybe with, like I said, with
Give
a
us
hand of it."
your shit.
What happened?
Give us your shit.
Give us your shit, and maybe you'll help us make a trade for something we need right now. And for me personally, I would go for, if you're gonna trade somebody, go for Hannafin now. You need defensemen right now. Goalie is gonna be goalie. Dawes has really stepped up, especially like I said those last two periods against San Jose.
Even in that first period, he really kept them in there. I felt like
He
like
sure
we were
did, yeah.
talking about yesterday. He kept them really, really well grounded in there.
Hmm.
I feel like if Vitek was playing, or even if Schmid was playing, that game's at least 2-3 nothing at the end of the first.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. That and then that destroys that team, keeping it at 1-0, and then going into the second, you still haven't had got the momentum. The Sharks came out for the first 3-4 minutes and were dominating, and then you get the big save by Dawes, you get the clear, and you get the breakaway with Timo passing it to Brat for the goal, making it 1-1, and then Jack makes a beautiful play when they were trying to go D to D, taking it away and scoring and making it 2-1. Then they finally got their game in. They got the lead. They got the game going, and the Sharks did what the Sharks do, basically fold it. So, and again, and unfortunately with Mackenzie Blackwood getting hurt, I mean he played a outstanding first period, and we still don't know what happened to him. I mean they put him on IR, but they really haven't said what was wrong with him. Why did he get pulled from the game? Is it an upper or is it a lower?
Mm.
I said he on the last save they made, they showed it on MSG. It didn't look like he hurt himself too bad. I mean, unless he just pulled something
He
or
might have, because I've seen Igor do that a couple times where he'll just go
right.
across and he just doesn't look right again getting up. So it might have just been something he might have even strained something that he's out for a little bit.
Yeah, and unfortunately with Blackwood, he is really injury prone. So you know you have to take that into consideration. But I mean, the kid was playing well against us, and I said a lot closer game if he stays in the game. I feel like it's a lot closer game.
I agree. I was just gonna even ask you that if you felt it was gonna be a bit of a closer game if he stayed in. So
Oh,
honestly,
absolutely.
yeah, I agree with you. It seemed like he was really ready to play against the Devils tonight. I mean, it's your former team. Why wouldn't you be?
Hmm.
But even then, still, it was good to see the Devils actually be able to take the reins of the game, turn it around, because
Yeah.
it looked brutal to
Yes,
really
and
when he really started watching that game. Like if you go back and watch the highlights, you could see that the team just did not look like they wanted to play there.
no, and it's sad because, like I said, they're coming off a bad week after that stadium series. I mean, they have just shitted the bed. I mean, I hate to say, but I feel like they put so much in the goddamn stadium series game against Philadelphia that yeah, that they lost track of their season. And lucky, like I said, luckily it was San Jose that they played, because I feel like any other team, any decent team, they're not they're behind in that game, and that game turns to shit really quick. And there again, they gotta either pull some magic out or hope these teams are, just fall back to the wayside. But you can't have that feeling as a fan. You gotta have a feeling that your team has to win and gain these points back, then hoping the other team falls apart. I mean, but right now, like I said, Hannafin is who I'm like, that's my main focus. We need a D man, and a solid D man, like ASAP. Like I said, the goalie, I think we can hang with Dawes and then see what happens during the off season. But right now, if I was going big time trade, I'm going defenseman. The defenseman, like I said, a Hannafin. Like I said, take him all day. I mean, like I said, he's gone. I said, Walker, you're not getting him from Philadelphia. I feel they're not going to trade with Philadelphia for a Walker. I mean, let's see who else you got available. I mean, you got the Ottawa, you got Chicherin from Ottawa. I mean, does it really help you in the long run? I mean,
I
yeah. I
it
mean,
would
like
be
I
a
said,
it'd be a cool move to see the Devils try to make, but I
right,
don't feel like Chikrin at his price, once you get Dougie back, will help you in any kind of way besides just throwing your cap into a nightmare.
right.
So
And I
you'd
mean, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I was just gonna say, so you'd have to be like really careful, but no, yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, and he's on the board for 4.6 this year. I mean that's
Okay.
pretty. I mean, it's a pretty hefty for a defenseman. But again, you need something on the back. You need something on that back end to help out. I mean, it's just getting. I mean, like I said, Hannafin's at 4.9. I mean, I would pay that little extra, for him instead of like a Chicherin from Ottawa. I mean, like I said, right now, like I said, I feel like a defenseman. Like I said, don't get me wrong. They trade for one of these big goalies like a Markstrom, a Soros. I mean, I'd be very happy, but I feel right now the defense is the biggest problem on this team, and bringing somebody like him in, I think would help the defense and the team in the long run. Because again, I feel like we have the offensive power that if we can fix that back end, we would be back in a solid position.
Honestly, I agree, and it seems I like going on capfriendly.com and going through the armchair GM stuff where people can like propose their own trades.
Right.
And honestly, this one kind of is going in the same kind of realm that you are. It has four teams in it. It's the
Okay.
Devils, the Kraken, the Avalanche. One, two, three, four, five teams. Wow. The
Okay.
Devils, the Kraken, the Avalanche, the Blue Jackets, and the Flames. There's a
Okay.
series of five different trades here.
Jesus.
We'll take it down. We'll go trade by trade, and you can tell me
Okay.
how you feel through all of it.
Okay.
First trade to Seattle, Akira Schmid and a 2025 fourth round pick, and the Devils get goaltender Chris Drieger.
Yeah, I don't like that at all. I feel like that's just a trade for a trade, basically.
Second
Like
trade
that.
in this entire saga. Colorado gets Chris Tierney, and the Devils get a 2024 fourth round pick.
I'm okay with that. I mean, again, Tierney's replaced. He's replaceable. I mean, if you can get someone for him, that would be fantastic. I would take that trade in a heartbeat.
Trade number three in the saga is Columbus getting the Devils' 2024 fifth round pick in exchange for Matthew Olivier.
I would be okay with that. That's something I think we would need. A little
Solid
grit.
fourth line winger.
fourth wing, a little like I say, very gritty. I like that. I like that trade. I mean, for a fifth round pick, that's a really good trade. I would take that. Again, it's gonna be one of the, it's gonna be one of those like not like a big deal in NHL realm, but it will help the team in the long run. I mean, it's one of those solid pickups.
Uh, Colorado gets Curtis Lazar.
Oh no, never mind. No,
No, no, no. And the Devils get
don't have,
a 2024 first round pick from Colorado.
wow. At first,
I feel
I
feel
don't
like
want to. I don't want to trade Lazar. I mean, I like Lazar. I mean,
yeah,
I
but or you
I think it's and
this is
he's one of those players that like grew on me. Like how you always have like he's not the greatest player, but he like
okay.
he's just, like I don't know. It just I
Let,
always feel like
let me
I
go
feel like
over number 5 with
okay,
Calgary to finish off the entire trades, and
okay,
we'll see how you feel. Calgary gets Kevin Ball, Graham Clark, and Santeri Hataka, and a 2024 first round pick from the Devils for Noah Hannafin.
take right now. I'll take it.
So right now the Devils lines would be with this trade if it went through would be Jack, Toffoli, and Timo,
Okay,
Nico, Mercer, and Brett,
I'm okay with that.
Holla, Holtz, Palat,
I'm okay with that.
Nosek, Olivier, and Smith.
The only thing I said I would if you're gonna trade Lazar, you're gonna that's it's gonna be hard to replace. And but Olivia, I mean, I would like to see how he plays in our system. I mean, before we take him out, but go ahead. Go ahead. Give our defense now.
Noah Hannafin,
Okay, again, perfect.
and number 6, Gian Marino,
Dan Marino. Okay,
Siegenthaler Miller on the second pair,
okay, I like that.
and then Luke and Nemec.
I like Luke again. The only thing with Luke and Simone being together is that's very offensive. So if you get trapped in a defensive spot, that's a little again. You're getting that's that difficulty of having the youth in front of the young goaltender. It's kind of hard to put those two. I mean, yes, offensively you want those two out there because again, Ruff does put them out a lot of times when they are behind. They will pair them up as a defensive core, but again, it's more for offense in a sense where I always feel like you want to have like a good defensive defenseman with an offensive defenseman. I hate the double pairings of offense with offense. Just again, you feel like you lose a little bit on the back end of it, and this team needs back end help, and they need to work on the back end.
Okay.
So, like I said, I would probably maybe split. I would go with maybe like the way the Siegenthaler and Nemeth has been working well together in the last few games. Luke, I would put Luke and Marino together. I mean, those they really do pair well together. It sometimes they struggled this year, but I feel like that's a good pairing.
Oh, I
And
forgot to throw in the extra defenseman of Nick DeSimone.
well, no, he hasn't even seen the ice this year yet. So again, that was one of those I don't realize why they picked him up for like just maybe a seventh defenseman, but again, I really haven't seen him play. So, like I said, he's Mr. Wild Card out there. I guess if anybody gets hurt, I guess that they're gonna go to him.
Okay. So yeah, that's a series of trades that the Devils could make to make a kind of interesting lineup.
Very interesting lineup. And again, if you can go for the goalie, go for it. But again, right now I'm focusing on the defense because you watch the game. If you watch it every game, you could just see the once the pressure starts, the defense kind of loses itself sometimes, and it's not working well, especially with the young goalie. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's gonna be something interesting to see with the trade deadline coming up next week, next Friday.
Yep. On March 8th. March 8th, we got the trade deadline coming up.
I'm not excited because the Rangers are wanting to bring back old friends and also Adam Henrique.
Hey, I mean, like again, solid. when we were running and thinking of a playoff spot, I wanted to trade for Henrique because I feel like again he'd be a nice replacement for the guy that we don't talk about. I mean, I think he would
Uh,
be a perfect center, third line center for this team. But he would really help that Rangers team out most definitely. And I feel
yeah,
like I mean, you're gonna have to give up a little bit for him, but if you can pull that off, I mean, that would tremendously help that lineup. I think.
I feel I don't feel like it does at this point because you're gonna be giving up Kako,
Okay.
and I can't justify giving Kako up for Vetrano, Henrique, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, I don't feel like you get that much better getting the two players in comparison to just what you have with Kako.
Right.
I mean, I go back any episode recently, and you'll hear me say like bye bye to him, but like I don't feel like that's what you really. I feel like you could use Kako to get like a Buchnevich if you want to bring back old friends,
Yes.
and then you could use Sakura, Goodrow, people like that to go get like maybe you use that and like a first to go get the first would be used on Buchnevich, but maybe you could still try to use that to try to get Henrique or even like Vetrano. Get one of them, but
Yeah.
don't give up your second overall pick from just a couple years ago to get both of them. It doesn't make
Right.
sense and it just doesn't feel like it's going to do anything to really help this team. But I'm seeing a lot of Rangers fans saying trade Lindgren, and I agree. It's he's going to cost too much after a certain point to justify him constantly getting hurt.
Right.
Like he got hurt in practice the other day because he got drilled into the boards. Fucking glass bones and paper skin. Every morning I break my arms and every night I break my fucking legs.
Mm-hmm.
He's SpongeBob. He's a SpongeBob character.
He's a SpongeBob
He
character.
comes out all wrapped up in his fucking
Yep.
bandages, and I can't fucking stand it. And he's gonna want over $5 million for fucking 6 7 years, and
Right.
I don't want it. I
You
don't
don't want.
want
Yeah.
it
I don't blame you. You don't want to invest in that.
because we've
In a
invested
long
in
term.
so much other stuff already. The Rangers have invested in so much other stuff with Kreider and Zibanejad and Panarin and Fox and Igor that you can't have another anchor on your contract that you're going to have to try to move when he's older and nobody wants him because he's an injury prone, too aggressive defenseman.
Right.
I honestly, you as much as it would suck for Rangers fans to hear it, you got to pull the trigger on a deal with him now to get a genuine return out of him.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because like you're coming off of winning 10 straight, 11 out of your last 12. You you got to be able to recognize still that yeah, that was a good run, but there were still issues. Lindgren was an issue.
Yeah.
Got knocked out of the Stadium Series game.
Yes.
Got knocked out of a couple other games. Not even really knocked out, but like was it was said in the broadcast that he was getting up slow, taking a little bit to get to the bench. What are we doing? What are we doing?
Exactly. Yep. Exactly. If they and again, if you could get something, something as a part of a trade with him, I mean, that would be, the perfect scenario. Especially, if you're not going to pay the guy. I mean, try to get rid of him. Try to get some value for him while at the highest peak of his value right now.
I agree, and I think his value's really high. I mean, playing on a pairing with Adam Fox definitely
Right.
helps, but
Oh,
I think he's in a fantastic spot value wise to get something really good out of him. You could get even if you wanted a little bit better of a defenseman, you could
right.
use him. You could use him and say maybe a Kako to get a better top pairing defenseman to play with Fox,
Yes.
or
Absolutely.
you just do the right thing and play. You break up Miller and Truba because I cannot stand that pairing. Watching them play against Columbus on Sunday was so telling of why this team is going to be people are always saying be concerned for this team in the playoffs. And they're normally saying that as a good thing of they're going to run through teams that you're not expecting. No, be concerned for this team in the playoffs when you see Jacob Trouba and Keandre Miller out there as a defensive pairing together. You
Yeah.
can take them for a walk around the fucking park every night. I
Hmm.
It was after the second period the Rangers tweeted out the score that it was so far. I think it was like 2-0 or 2-0 or 2-1.
Okay.
And I was so done at that point. I just said just bench Truba and Miller. It's easier than wasting their roster spots. Like
Oh, absolutely.
they were brutal to watch. And then yesterday they come out, they play against Columbus again,
Hmm.
and they look like an entirely different team to be able to pull out a win.
Right.
I don't
Yep.
know what the fuck's going on anymore.
Well, you gotta, especially with this team, you gotta think of the chemistry of this team right now. And do you feel like, what do you want to add to you feel then you feel like it's a solid, like you're ready for the playoff run? I mean,
you
what what would be your perfect scenario as a fan to say, all right, we made this deal, we broke this up. This would be a perfect scenario going into a playoff series where you need to grind it out. It's not just an explosion. You got to grind out a 7 game series. What would be your perfect like scenario for that?
on it.
Because right now, like I said, right now they're the first team with 40 wins. I mean, they're they've rocked and rolled like I said the last month or so. I mean, do you really want to break up this lineup right now that's really been rolling, for something you don't know that, what you're going to go in the future with? I mean, again, the Rangers are always the big team that loves to go after the big haul. Or, do they make that kind of move this year, or do
I'd
they
take a
go,
Gensel.
or they something
I
like that? That's a Ranger speed right there.
I would
Like that's where.
I would take a. Oh God, I pulled up another large series of trades, and this one has Mark Stahl going back to the Rangers. I'm gonna click off that. Get that away from my face.
In a
But
way.
but no, yeah, I think I'd right here is what I'm talking about. Right here is what I'm talking about. Another 5 teams: Calgary, the Rangers, Boston, Colorado, and the Devils.
Mm.
The Rangers trade Lindgren and a first for Hannafin.
Okay,
That's
that
what I'm
would
talking about. You're using
that's
his
good.
value now.
Right, exactly, and that's a solid trade. That helps the team like instantly.
With Hannafin getting retained salary from Calgary, so
Yeah,
you're getting even less money on him. That's the
yes.
kind of trade I'm talking about.
If they could pull that out, then God bless the Rangers because that's a and it's not it doesn't seem like a lot of value, but if the Rangers are pulling, if they're pulling a conference final, Stanley Cup final, that pick is going to be really low. It's not going to be
As
like a top 10,
as
top 15.
exactly as much as it's if the Rangers were to go on to win to go on to the Cup final, even not even win the Cup,
Right.
it would suck to see Lindgren not be there.
Of course.
But if the Hannafin trade like that would work out, then you can't be upset.
No, absolutely
Like,
not.
like at that point, if I was Fox, I would ask him to come spend the day with the cup with me, so he
Oh,
has it. Because like
yeah.
I would I would even give him I'd even tell front office to give that motherfucker a ring.
So give him a ring and even fucking put his name on the goddamn cover. Come
Hell
on.
yeah, Warrior. Just put Warrior.
There you go.
And then the last part of this trade, I won't go over the Colorado and Boston ones. We'll see how this helps the Devils. Seamus Casey, Vanacek, and a third for Markstrom.
I would right now. I would pull that off right now. You said Casey. Who else is it? Who was the second person?
It was Casey, Vitek, and a pick.
Oh no, yeah, definitely, yeah. I'm doing that trade. Fucking 3 days to Sunday, all day.
Alrighty.
Yeah,
So
I'm
yeah,
doing that. That's again. I understand Casey but again, he's very young, and again, that defense is going to be really packed in. I mean, like as much as we're talking about the defense right now, it's a matter of growing up for that defense. They are so young right now between Hughes and Nemeth and Ball. They're all young players, and you got to again. They're gonna develop, but right now, I think a lot of Devils are hitting the panic button with them, just because again, you got to remember they're not even like 22 yet. Some of these defensemen, I think Ball is 22, 23. Like I said, Luke is 20. Nemeth is 19, 20. You got to give the this defense core time to develop. And like I said, bringing in a Markstrom, bringing in somebody, like I said, like a Hannafin, would help this defense big time right now. Just in leadership and just experience, it would help them big time. And that kind of just said for a Markstrom, I mean, like I said, yes, he's older, he's gonna cost you money, but he will solidify the goaltending situation. But again, we'll see what happens with both of them because again, who knows what's gonna happen after these couple games this weekend.
Yeah, the this next
'Cause
week is
again,
going to be interesting for a
yeah,
lot of
again,
different teams.
again, there's a lot of stories even coming out today that a lot of the front office, this is what they're looking for. They want to see how they play on this road trip to see what direction this team is going. Because, like I said, if they shit the bed like they did in the first period in San Jose coming off this trip, they're going to be sellers. I mean, they're not selling the big guys, but you can probably pick up some of these guys if they're sellers.
I agree.
The
It's just
the
so weird trying to figure out who could and couldn't be selling at this point.
right.
Because like there was some teams coming into the season that you thought they were going to be sellers, and now they're getting ready to shoot right into the playoffs. I mean, look at Detroit.
Absolutely. And a team even like poor Arizona, like they were in the playoff
They're
mix and
trying
now
so hard, and
yeah,
it makes me so happy.
yeah, and like I said, um Arizona, like I said, now are sellers because
Honestly, though, I have a
it,
question for you regarding Arizona.
sure.
It's a little bit off topic, but with the way we mentioned the way the season was going, do you feel like in comparison to other seasons for Arizona that this has been a failure of a season, or are you happy with where they're at right now? Like if you were a player on Arizona, would you be happy with where the season's gone so far? I mean,
I
23, 30, and 5, 51 points compared to where you used to be in the standings.
right,
I think they're on the right track. And I think that's the thing.
right.
Like they're struggling so hard to get back onto the tracks because they
Mhm.
fell off so hard compared to other teams. Like they're 0-8-2 in their last 10.
Yes.
Something's gotta I don't even know what you do there. Like it's just such a young team with such a
Yeah.
weird situation that I don't think there's anything you can do.
Right. Well, I said
So
they do have a couple of veterans that they could move like a Doomba or a Zucker. I mean, those two right now
they
are
have
probably
Dumba, but I saw yesterday that they were asking for a first round pick for Dumba, and absolutely not.
no, absolutely, yeah, no.
You're lucky to get a fifth.
No, absolutely. And again, I feel like they should be, just continue. Again, they're a young team. Continue on that road. I mean, look to keep building. You're gonna have salary. You're gonna have almost $16 million of salary cap coming up. I would say stay the course right now. Stay the course. Try. Make a playoff run if you can. I mean, again, they're a team that they were gonna be a lottery pick, and they still are kind of in the mix. So right now, if I was a player right there, I'd be happy at the situation we are in, figuring what you thought you were going to be in at the beginning of the season. So right now, again, I don't feel like they're sellers. I don't feel like they're buyers either. I feel like they're kind of just staying the course right now. So
Well, let's uh let's talk about a team that is not sure of what course they're on because I saw a report yesterday that said that the New York Islanders are already thinking about canning Patrick Waugh.
I did see that too. Yes.
What do you think about that? I don't think it's Waugh. I think at this point, if you're looking at anything, you need to fire Lou.
Oh, absolutely. It's getting.
It's getting
I think
ridiculous at this point.
it's getting ridiculous, and I think he's just over the hill right now. I mean, unfortunately, you get as you get older, you just don't have the same. the same mindset than you did, 30 years ago. And right now, that they are kind of in limbo right now. They're kind of in like a shambles. I mean, like I said, they lost that Stadium Series game, which
In a brutal, it was
brutal way.
brutal to see them lose
Brutal.
the way they did. I mean,
Oh,
even as a Rangers
brutal.
fan, I was happy to see the Rangers win that game. But man, if I was an Islanders fan, I would be pissed.
Oh,
That was the worst game I think they've probably played this entire season. They were dominating the Rangers for a lot of that game,
oh
and
my
then
God.
just flubbed it
Flubbed it and then flubbed it in overtime. I mean,
and flubbed it quick. I saw people complaining. They were like, "Oh, but Dobson knocked the net off. The play should have
no,
been blown down." Nope,
no.
nope.
I watched that review about 30, 40 times, and no, unfortunately, it was that was a good goal. I mean, shit, you can't beat that. I mean, I
And
mean,
like they're complaining that Dobson knocked the net off. Hey, dumb idiot! Maybe don't lob a saucer pass across the middle of the ice in overtime with Artemi Panarin standing in the middle. Monkey in the middle is not a fun game to play in hockey. You'll lose
every time,
every fucking time.
every
And
time.
it's Artemi Panarin. It's Artemi Panarin who keeps scoring.
Ugh. And how about instead of knocking the net off, how about focus on where the puck is? I mean, shit, there, you had a chance. You had a chance. I mean, it rolled through him. I mean, you had a chance instead of knocking net off, maybe look for the puck and knock it back. I mean, shit. Instead of just letting it roll across the line. I mean,
Yeah, I like.
you know,
I
but
got no sympathy. The Islanders blew that game. Scott Mayfield blew that game. You can't
oh
keep
my
taking
god,
penalties.
you can't take that penalty right there. I
You
mean,
can't. That's what happened with the fucking Devils and Islanders games for the Rangers. Both
yep,
teams that they played were garbage at the special teams that they kept putting themselves through.
exactly, yep,
Like the Islanders couldn't do shit on a penalty kill,
nope.
kept taking penalties. Devils couldn't do shit on a power play. Rangers kept giving them kept giving them power plays.
Oh, the fucking power play is fucking brutal
Oh,
right now. Fucking brutal. I mean, yes, the last couple games they've scored a couple, but over the last month or so, their power play has been brutal. And I don't care. I don't want to hear about injuries. I don't want to hear about that. I mean, it the pass. I mean, just back. It's the passing. I mean, you're not gonna get the just shoot. I mean, yes. I know it's a stupid thing to say. Just shoot. But some of those lanes they open up, and you just see it. They make perfect passes, and they don't shoot. I
yeah,
mean,
just rip it on.
just
You
rip
have an
it.
advantage for a reason.
Exactly. Yeah, it's called a power play. You because you have an advantage. Take advantage of the goddamn advantage. I mean,
Yeah,
shit.
that I've been having that issue with the Rangers, even though their special teams are both top 5 in the league. It's
Right.
you're not you're not shooting. You're playing too pretty.
Right. Exactly.
Like
I agree. And you don't see a lot of I mean, a lot of these power plays now. Again, it's more looking to get the puck down low into like the mix, like into the middle and in the mixer. And they back in the day, they used to those defensemen would blast pucks and try to get rebounds off them for power plays. And it, like I said, it just seems like the game has just turned into like this, like we gotta cross ice passing and stuff, trying to fool the goaltender with their passing. And the setups, the dump setup fucking kills me. I fucking hate that. Like they said, the defenseman will come up halfway and dump it back.
yeah,
I don't know why that annoys the fuck out of me, because do not remember power plays ever
because
being like.
when I see a team do that, my immediate reaction as a hockey player would be, okay, I'm expecting them to drop the puck back, rush it. Like catch them as they're dropping it back, take the puck away and just send it up the ice. They're
Yep.
not going to know what to do because they're already trying to skate back up. It's going to be so hard for them to try to cut backwards.
Yep.
You're on a clear enough break at that point because it's probably one or two guys back and you're probably fast enough to get past one of them.
Oh, absolutely.
And like even if you do get a full clean break and there is somebody behind you and they do try to do anything, penalty shot.
Yep. That's it. Yeah. No,
that
absolutely.
I guess it's different sitting there watching a game and seeing the full perspective because you could see the top down view of the lanes opening up. so
Oh,
you could
absolutely.
see, oh well, why wouldn't you just pass it up this way or shoot it there or go wherever? So like it it's it's very frustrating when it's not just when it's just like just shoot like
Yeah,
just shoot like your entire job is to shoot.
damn fucking puck. Just shoot it, goddamn it. If and what happens happens. You miss, you miss. At least you're putting pressure on you're putting pressure on the other team.
Yeah,
I mean,
pucks on net. Just try to get something.
yeah,
you never know what's gonna bounce your way.
exactly. Yeah, no, absolutely. Again, I feel again that's one of the the things in this new NHL, the new more skills NHL that drives me fucking nuts every time. I mean, like I said, just dump the puck in, go get it. You got an advantage. Get it back to defense, make some passes, and shoot the puck as much as possible.
Yeah, it it just seems like a lot of teams recently have been getting in their heads about special teams,
Hmm.
and you're noticing it. Like the Rangers in a couple games recently were just trying to skate the puck in, and we're getting stopped at the blue line consistently,
Yep.
and they didn't change a damn thing.
No.
Like I don't understand why why teams are so hesitant to change their penalty kill and power play if it's not working.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Like I keep on seeing people saying like that the Rangers should really start considering moving Miko off the first power play, but of course now I'm saying this he's going to be a god.
Yeah, exactly.
So like I like take Mika off the first power play for Loff and then just figure it out from there. I don't feel like you need two centers on that first unit. I don't know.
No.
It seems like the Rangers really like figured out the power play system of four forwards and a defenseman.
Okay.
Everybody else followed, and now the Rangers don't know what to do with it because now it's just the same thing across every team,
Yeah.
and they I feel like they're having to try to compete with, oh well, we figured that I can't even talk. I can't even figure out how to talk.
That's
Uh,
all right.
they can't figure out the power play now, so now they're just gonna give up. Like it feels like they've kind of given up on a lot of opportunities sometimes.
Hmm.
Uh, but even then, I don't know what you have to do. I feel like that's just something that comes with certain games because
Hmm.
man, it I hate special teams. Thinking about special teams makes my head hurt. That's insane.
uh, shit. You know what makes my head hurt? All these people that could be traded. I mean, there is a lot that
There is a lot.
there is a lot. This in the next 2 weeks, this league can change, and there could be a lot of changes in this league right now. So we all will be watching on Friday the 8th. I mean, I know I'll be on my TV watching all day the coverage. I mean, it's one of the best. It is one. I mean, it is one of the best trade deadline shows like of all the four sports. I mean, some of them are okay, but the hockey one, it's just always seems like it's like very exciting, and there's a lot of moves and a lot of like stuff that goes on the NHL trade deadline, and it's gonna be really exciting to look for. Right now, I pulled up an article about let's say the top 10 uh, trade possibilities that could go down
All
or
right.
players. All right, we have Jake. We got Getzel from Pittsburgh. Do you feel like he's going to be moved in, before the deadline?
Uh, I believe so, but I feel like the deal has to be perfect for Pittsburgh to take it.
Hmm.
Uh, they've Dubas has really shown that he wants to try to keep the core together as much as he can, and I feel like Gensel is a decent part of that core in
Okay.
Pittsburgh. So I feel like unless the deal is absolutely perfect, it's gonna be something that they look at, but they would really need to be entertained to really like pull the trigger on any kind of deal.
Right. And like I said, so number two and number three, we have Hanifin and Markstrom, which again we talked about both of them.
Yeah, I feel like they're both getting traded.
Okay, they're both gonna get traded. All right, your old boy Buchnevich, do you feel he's gonna be moved before the end?
Uh, I feel like it goes back to the same thing I said before. The deal has to be really good because he is a really solid first line winger.
Yep.
So you really got to look for a really good trade out there that you're really going to get decent value on, because it could be really tough with certain teams that you're communicating with to get that value for Buchnevich.
Hmm.
But I like I was saying before, if like a deal could be pulled off with the Rangers or something, I feel like you make it happen.
Yep. And at almost 6 million, I mean that's a pretty good deal for for a good player like Buchnevich. I mean,
Absolutely, I totally agree.
it would fit right in. I mean, it's a perfect salary to fit him into like a contending team right now.
Yeah, especially with
Right.
the Rangers, if you have that space from Heedle, you can make something work.
Absolutely. All right. So number five, we have Saros from Nashville. Do
I
you feel
don't
like
think he's getting moved.
I don't think so either. I think they're close enough to a playoff spot where they will hold off a year on him and make a push and see. Maybe they add maybe like a lower end free agent or a trade deadline move for them. They're not going to make a crazy move, but I feel like they will keep him and maybe try to build a little bit around them, make a little playoff push.
I agree, and I also feel like their asking price is a little bit too high right now for Saros.
Right. Oh,
Uh, like I heard the asking price was a little. It was like it was called astronomical at that point. Like it just
right.
seemed like it was way too much. So I don't. Yeah, I agree with you. I feel like they try to make a little bit of a push, or they try to trade off other stuff for right now.
Yeah. If anything, the Stars trade, the like I said, the one we talked about maybe the last episode with Mercer and maybe what was it, a Mercer, the first round pick and somebody another prospect for I would have taken that trade. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I would have taken that trade at the time. Right now, I think I would.
Okay.
Just because I feel like Mercer, I don't know. I don't know if it's a surroundings. I know he scored. I know he scored against San Jose, but he really hasn't looked the same. I don't know if he's secretly hurt or something's going on, or he just doesn't look the same as he did earlier in the season. I guess maybe that's just my opinion, but right now, if they were offering that trade for a Mercer, a first, and something else, I would pull that trade off for the Devils right now. I mean, that's one of the trades I feel like it would help out in the long run right now.
Okay.
So,
What else we
so
got?
we have, I said we have the trade that they had yesterday at number 6.
Okay.
We got Henrique and Valero from at 7 and 8 from Anaheim. Do you feel like they're going to be a package deal, or you think they would be
Probably.
separate deals?
I feel like the only place that you see both of them going in a package is to the Rangers,
Right.
because like Verbeek was at the Garden yesterday, so they were definitely talking about something.
Right.
So I feel like if anything, that is a pack that would be the package that you see. But I feel like that's the only deal around the NHL right now involving those two that I could see really even happening.
And then you're adding almost 9 million to your cap too.
Hmm.
So again, between the two players, I mean, they're real. I mean, again, they're really good players. But then again, do you want to add those two players to the mix that you have now? I mean, do you want to break up the chemistry that this team is having right now with two big players in a trade like that?
Uh, I don't know. I'd rather take the injured Zegras over either of those two.
Either. Okay. And then we have Sean Walker from Philadelphia at number 9.
Uh,
Solid defenseman. I mean, salary is really good at 2.6. I mean, he's gonna be a free agent at the end of the year, but for a contender. But again, Philadelphia's in the mix, so would they want to get rid of him?
I think you see how you play the rest of the way up into the trade deadline, and then see what you have out there. You can revisit deals that you were looking at already, or even if you have something new on trade deadline day, you can entertain it a little bit. So I think play out the rest of your games leading up to the trade deadline next Friday, and see what you got to do from there. With Walker and Sealer.
Okay. And at last, we have your former player, Vladimir Tarasenko. Good, solid 5 million for this year. I mean, signed only for this year though. Will be a free agent. I mean, do you give up little something? Who do you think somebody's giving up something for him?
Oh, welcome to another edition of. What are you watching?
I must have hit some by mistake. Oh yeah, I did.
But Yeah, I, f- I feel like you don't give up much for him
Right.
because of how much he costs right now. Because it also doesn't make sense for Ottawa to try to retain salary on that for a year. So on I don't see him getting moved.
Okay.
But if he does get moved, the trade is going to be like Tarasenko for a second round pick. It's not going to be like the trade it was last year.
Right. It's gonna be again. It's a rental for him.
Yeah.
You know, he's quintessential rental player for any team that's gonna trade for him this year.
He said he didn't want to leave the Rangers, so look out for that. But
Look out for that.
look out for that. But yeah, I think the trade deadline is going to be interesting. I'm not sure which players are or aren't going to be moved. I mean, the Tanev deal was pretty much a surprise for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that came out of left field yesterday, especially when you go online and you see Devils make trade, one of those clickbait sites. And you're like, oh my god, and then you see his picture, like, oh my god, and then you go to it, and it's like you were so disappointed as a Devils fan. I
Yep.
mean, I know I was. I got clickbaited like a motherfucker, so it's like it sucks.
Yeah.
I hate the clickbait fucking sites. Ugh.
Well, if there's anything that we are not, gang, is a clickbait site, podcast, or anything, but we are going to have to end the episode here.
Yep.
It's been an absolute pleasure being able to talk to you guys for another week. We apologize for being off the past couple of weeks. Things have been a little bit crazy for the Gunk Man,
Yes, it has.
but we'd like to thank you all for joining us, listening in. We'll talk to you guys more as the trade deadline approaches. When trade deadline day comes, expect a little bit of content from us.
Oh, absolutely.
We'll be trying to crank some stuff out. Check us out at What the Puck Pod everywhere you can find us. Gang, we love yous. We hope you have a great rest of your week. Peace.
Peace.